Hi, this is Alex Pender from Kids in Need of Defense, and welcome to the Kind Pro Bono Attorney of the Month feature video chat. Today we are here with Buck Dixon from Troutman Sanders down in Atlanta. Buck recently won Kind Atlanta's very first asylum case or asylum grant for a 14-year-old boy from Guatemala. So we're really thrilled to be talking with you today, Buck, and to hear more about the case and the work that you've done with Kind Pro Bono. So thank you.
And thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just start off with how, would love to know more about how you first became involved with Kind and when you first met Marcos.
So I first became involved with Kind shortly after the Atlanta office opened in early 2016. I think the office actually opened in October of 2015. But our pro bono coordinator here at Troutman sent out an email letting us know about an informational session. I was pretty fresh at the time. I'd only been at the firm for a few months after passing the bar and everything. And I took the opportunity and I went to a seminar that Kind hosted. And I immediately found that I was passionate about the issues that Kind stands for. And I took on a case that day.
That's awesome. And kind of what aspects of this pro bono work are different from the everyday work that you do at Troutman?
So I'm an environmental lawyer, so I do a lot of regulatory compliance and administrative law work. So this is entirely different than what I do from a day-to-day standpoint. I say that the background information that I needed was easy to come by, though, thanks to Kind and all the support that they provided. They definitely made the transition to working on an immigration case a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. And so, this being your first pro bono case working with an unaccompanied child, what was that, if any, that biggest lesson learned or personal growth moment that you found working with Marcos?
So with respect to personal growth, I would say that this case gave me the opportunity to really take an issue by its reins and really be the person who is in charge of a case and is responsible for its outcome. So I think that just being a young associate was an incredible experience to actually be the person in charge of a case and not just taking direction from a partner. So I think that part of it was an extreme personal growth moment. Also, with respect to working with Marcos, having the client to lawyer interaction, especially being him being a child, was a lot different than anything I'd really done before. So I think just gaining that experience will make it that much easier for the next time that I'm speaking with a client who, not only speaks English and speaks my language, and because I'm not a Spanish speaker, unfortunately, that would have made things a little easier along the way. But to just have the experience of speaking with someone who has been through terrible life events and learning how to, I guess, talk and ease out in a compassionate way. That story was an extreme growth moment for me.
Yeah. So could you share a little bit about Marcos's case? Why he fled Guatemala and what it was like for him to come to the U.S.
Sure. So Marcos fled Guatemala when he was 12. And in the years prior to his decision to leave his country, he had been persistently recruited to join a gang in his home village. And that gang, like I said, over a number of years had tried to get Marcos to join them and tried to get him to sell drugs on their behalf. He consistently denied recruitment, denied to do the bad acts. And in retaliation of that, the gang members beat him on one occasion. They threatened to kill him numerous times. They even went to the extent of burning down the kitchen at his grandparents' house. And on one particularly gruesome occasion, he actually witnessed the gang members throwing a townsperson in a hole and setting him on fire and burning him alive. So at a young age, he experienced all this and witnessed all this. And he, I guess, hit a breaking point and decided to flee.
And so kind of on that, Marcos's case was Kind Atlanta's first asylum office's grant. Can you speak to a bit why this is such a crucial win, not only for Marcos, but for Atlanta?
Sure. So as you know, the asylum granting rate by the immigration court in Atlanta is extremely low. I've seen one number that has it at a 98% denial rate by the immigration court in Atlanta. This case gives people hope. It provides us with proof that it can happen. While we were approved by the U.S. Immigration Office through the Asylum Office and didn't have to make our asylum argument before the court, it still shows that it is possible to do. And that really would not be possible without groups like Kind, who help take these claims through the process. But I think that it's an important moment because it was a win in a time when we desperately needed a win.
Mm-hmm. And do you think, after going through this whole process with Marcos, going through the immigration court process, applying for asylum with him, do you think he would have been able to do this on his own without an attorney?
Not a chance. I don't know how anyone does. As you know, the standard for asylum is a difficult one to prove, and there's just no way that a person, not only an adult, much less a 12-year-old kid, could be able to present evidence that would lead to a positive outcome. I think that legal training in these issues is absolutely necessary. One of the cruxes of our claim was the police presence in the town, and we had actually through receiving sworn affidavits and declarations from townspeople, we found out that the police and the municipal courts in the village had withdrawn all services. That's just one particular example about certain pieces of information that perhaps someone without legal training would not even think about doing. But it was, I believe, a very important part of the case.
So when you say withdraw all services, so there was no police presence at all to help Marcos or anyone in the townspeople affected by these gangs?
It's hard to believe, but that's correct. And we actually received a declaration from the town's interim mayor, who had certified that there was no police presence in the town. So even if, which they did, when after witnessing Marcos getting beaten, his teachers called the police, and after receiving this information, it was made a lot more sense as to why no one answered those calls, because there was no police to help.
Yeah, wow. And that's crazy. What would you kind of say to other attorneys who are either considering taking a case from Kind or why you think it's important for attorneys to engage as advocates for these kids?
These kids have nothing else. They don't have any safety net. We are that safety net. And as lawyers, I think that we all go into this profession at some point or another to help, whether it be to help people, to help companies, whatever that may be. But this is a way that you can directly, positively influence someone's life. Without Kind and without our efforts, Marcos would likely be removed from the country and would either, who knows what would happen. I don't want to speculate on that. But I think that it just provides attorneys with such a great opportunity to help those who extremely need it. It's in the organization's name, Kids in Need of Defense, and that's absolutely there's not a more true statement. These kids have experienced things at a young age that no one should experience in a lifetime, and anything that you can do to help those who desperately need it is something that you should consider doing. And I would also say, as a lawyer too, it was an extremely rewarding experience to know that you have a direct impact on helping someone, on changing and molding that person's life story. It really doesn't get more rewarding than that.
So kind of on that note, what is Marcos up to now that he's been granted asylum?
Well, he's certainly at the time not concerned about getting murdered by Guatemalan gang members. Right now he's doing his best to lead a normal life as a 14-year-old would. He's in school. He's doing well. Anytime that we ask him what his favorite thing to do is, he says it's to study. So we're glad that he has the opportunity to do that and not have to worry about things that have almost certainly haunted him in the past.
Well, thank you so much, Buck, for being with us today. And thank you for all the work that you've done for Marcos and for Kind.
Thank you so much.
All right, talk soon.
Have a good one.